sorrow. I've seen trouble all my days. I bid farewell to old Kentucky, the place where I was born and raised, the place where he was born and raised. That's your bit, guys. Alright, so when I'm on that last line, you gotta sing along with me. For 6 long years I've been in trouble. No pleasures here on earth I've found. Out in this world I'm bound to ramble. I have no friends to help me now. He has no friends to help him now. It's fare thee well, my old true lover. I never expect to see you again. I'm bound to ride that northern railroad. Perhaps I'll die upon this train. Perhaps he'll die upon this train. You can bury me in some deep valley for many years where I may lay. Then you may learn to love another while I'm sleeping in my grave, while he's sleeping in his grave. Hello everybody, great to see you and thank you very much indeed for joining me. Wonderful. I'm guessing I've got a few people here, yeah? Okay, we've got Edgar and we've got Paul Hilliker, Richard Monaghan, Terry Cook, Edgar, as I say, and Steve Bembo from Cardiff, Wolfman from London, David Price, Dave from Bolton, which is great. Peter Braidwood from Dunblane in Scotland. Hey Peter, nice to have you on board. Some new faces tonight, I think. I'm not entirely sure, but it seems like we do have some new faces. And we have Jonathan from Iran, which is great. So we got all our kind of people from all over the globe, which is brilliant. And hopefully the word is spreading. And if you know people who you think may enjoy the show, then please do tell them about it, because our audience is growing steadily. And it would be fantastic for me to reach 100 people on here. I know that we generally get quite a lot of people here, but so we've got Jeff as well. Evening, Jeff. And I'm not sure where Mum is, Paul. We've got Dylan as well from Arizona. Great to see you. There's Pat. Hi, Joe, Julie's, Leo, and everyone. Great to see you. And we've got Greg from Kentucky. From old Kentucky, no less. Sal, thanks Sal, great to see you here as well, and Chris Day, you love the Martin. A lot of people do seem to like the guitar, but don't get too hung up in the guitars. I get so many people, I mean, admittedly it's a nice guitar and all the rest of it, but you could give me an orange box and I'd play you a tune, you know. So it's only because, you know, it's provided my living, so, you know, it's kind of important to get something which reflects that in a sense. You know, I certainly started out like a lot of you guys out there with a kind of no-name guitar. You know, that was my first guitar. And it's just important to be able to do something with what you have. And as you get better, and I think the important thing is that before you make a big investment on a guitar, to make sure it's going to be something that you stick with and you're going to be doing for the rest of your days. Because there's not much point in buying a guitar like this if you're just going to pick it up once a week. It really doesn't do it justice. You'd be better off with something cheaper, really. So try and gauge that with how much you play and your love of the instrument and your love of music as well, because I think that's kind of, you know, pretty important as well. So I started out the show there with A Man of Constant Sorrow, okay? It's a really nice tune and I have done a lesson on it. So it's all there, ready and waiting. Great little song. You got lots of different parts. And you know, the funny thing about it is, I don't know if many of you kind of enjoy the song as such, but it's based around D. And because we have a drop D, the G becomes here. Yeah, so you can play your kind of G like that. Which is nice because it gives these kind of chords a different sound, and an A without this kind of ring finger on the B string. And you know, that's pretty much all you need. So you can just play your D. I am a man of constant sorrow. That's your G. I've seen trouble. That's your A. Was all my days. And that's your D. So you can very easily play the song just with those three chords. You don't have to drop any strings if you don't want to. You can just play D, an A, and a G. So have a go at it. You know, what I often say is start out with the basics and then you can start putting in all the kind of fancy bits as you get a bit better. You know, you know, all those kind of bits are relatively straightforward. They're nothing too much to worry about. So great song, well worth learning. Ages since I've played it. You'll have to excuse my playing a little bit tonight because my wrist is still not up to form, so I'm a little bit limited about what I can play and it's not the most comfortable. Now, before I go any further, we've got Ernie here as well. Great to see you, Ernie. I was hoping you was going to join us tonight, and we have somebody from Russia who I can't pronounce. Okay, and Cyan, can you show some tricks? I'm not sure about hip-hop, Cyan. It's not something we do here on the Joe Show, although I wouldn't rule it out. I can generally do a little bit of something. Now, before I get started, you know about this little sign here. Generally, I have that for my concerts, but Terry Cook last week was very kind and he made a donation. And he has done the same tonight before I even kicked off on this little show. So I don't want anybody to feel obliged, but it's there if anybody, it's like a kind of tip jar. So for anybody who wants to chuck a little something in there, obviously that's going to be most welcome because I don't have any gigs this year. But on the same hand, I don't want anybody to feel obliged to, okay? So it's just there if you want to, and I'd like to say a great big thanks to Terry for doing that. So thank you very much indeed. Right, okay, so that is something that you can take a look at. Really, really nice song. And I hope that you will, just because it is, as I say, a cracker. Now then, I hope that you've all got your pen and paper ready and your guitars ready and you're all kind of tuned up and stuff, because as you know, we generally do a little bit of a play along, which is great, and I thoroughly enjoy that part of the show. So I'm hoping that we can continue on with that. Maybe look at a new piece. I've got something else in mind for tonight. In fact, why wait? Let's get straight on with it. Get your guitars ready. Now, I must remember, because this isn't going to work on this guitar, so I'd like you all to get your guitars ready now. Okay, I'm going to flip over to one of my others, which is this one. All right, so here we go. It's not too bad for jazz. Now, what I'd like to kind of take a look at tonight is Alberta. Is anybody up for a little bit of Alberta? I hope you all say yes, because that's what we're going to look at. Now, I know, hopefully you're not going to get sick of some of these songs, because there's a certain amount of repetition. And I don't really want to start throwing people all over the place by just playing new things every week and expecting you to play along. Far less chance of that happening. So I thought what I would do is pick something that we've kind of had a look at before. Yeah. So now with Alberta, it's relatively straightforward, okay, so it's nothing too much that we have to worry about. And we have a C. So the song starts in C, so I want to tell you a little bit about it before we get started. Now I realise a lot of you are pros, and you're probably going, oh, get on with it, Joe, we know all this stuff that you do, but I have to try and cater for everybody, so hopefully you'll understand that, folks, okay? So the song starts with like a, and then we're into a C. There's a lot of C to G, back to C, to G, to C, C7, to F, to C, to G, to C, G, and then we have C, F, F minor, C. Okay, it's quite a lot to take in. So if you're just kind of trying to busk your way through this one, you won't go far around if you stick around those C's and G's, okay? Occasionally it goes to the F, admittedly, but more often than not it's going between the C's and the G's, all right? So let me just talk you through it one more time, because I want you to be able to have a fighting chance with this one, okay? So we've got C, to G, to C, to G, to C. C7 if you can, F, holds that F a while, goes to C, to G, to C, to G, hi Steve, holds that last G a while, then it goes C, F, F minor, C, alright, are we good? I want to see a few yeses up here now, okay, before we get started. I want to make sure that you've just got round about the kind of idea that you need, because I really do want you to join me for this one. It'd be wonderful if you could. Okay, well, it seems like you're all focused and you don't want to type too much. Okay, Colleen, nice to see you here again. That's wonderful. And Sal, you got here late. That's okay, Steve. Dave, yeah, that's fine. JP, good. Bernard, good. We're all good then, folks, yeah? All right, well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll just do it a little bit slower than normal, okay? To give you a little bit of a chance. Well done, Waggy. I'm glad you could do it. And Jeff, I expect you to be playing all the... and all the... Okay, so you guys who are a little bit more intermediate, try and put all those little runs in, okay? Peter, great. Glad to hear you're ready. And Julie. And Leo is ready. I thought we were dancing tonight, Leo. Thought that was the plan, quick step. Never mind, that's just a little private joke. Leo thought with my hand being bad that we might do a few little dancing lessons tonight, but you've definitely come to the wrong place for dancing, because I cannot dance to save my life. All right then, folks, enough talking, let's get on with it, okay? So we're going to go nice and slow. Alberta, Alberta, where you been so long? Alberta, Alberta, where you been so long? Ain't had no loving since you've been gone. Alberta, Alberta, Jake, where'd you stay last season? Alberta, Alberta, F, where'd you stay last season? G, C, came home this morning, clothes don't feel right. Bit quicker now, folks. Alberta, Alberta, girl, you're on my mind. Alberta, Alberta, right, everybody now. Lovely. F. C. C. G. All right, C. F. F minor and C. Alberta, Alberta, where you been so long? Alberta, Alberta, where you been so long? Ain't had no loving since you've been gone. Again, C, G, C, F, C, G, C, F, F minor and C. Alberta, Alberta, girl, you're on my mind. Alberta, Alberta, it's F, where you been, C, lost. Ain't had no loving since you've been gone. Well done, big round of applause. Absolutely splendid stuff. Again, it feels like I can hear you coming through the ether, guys, which is a wonderful thing. It's great to have these play-alongs. And, you know, if there's one thing that I wish for, it would be... got to be civil and say hello. Great stuff, Steve. Okay, so I need you to make some suggestions about our play-alongs, okay? So why don't you kind of do that underneath this video once it's uploaded onto YouTube? And then we're going to be building up more kind of material which we can play along with, okay? So try and pick things which we can all do, because I think that that's really important. You know, it's no good me doing really complicated things because it's going to rule a lot of people out, okay? Now, I think that that's something that we could improve on, folks. The comments down below the videos. If we start getting into the habit of making comments about what you'd like to see, what you're struggling with, what questions you'd like to ask me, then really you need to start putting them down below the videos, because else if you don't, then it's just kind of my thing and I focus on the things which I think will be helpful, which is all well and good. I'm sure it is helpful to you, but I think it would also help a little bit if we blended that in with some of your ideas. You're all very loyal viewers and you come along week after week to watch the show. And it adds a little bit of interest for you if your points are getting answered, or, you know, maybe I'm playing something. But it's no good kind of, you know, texting me or messaging me 5 minutes before the show. It's not going to happen. I mean, I get a lot of people doing that half an hour before the show. Can you play this? Can you play that? And can you play this? And can you play that? It's not going to happen, folks. So if you would be so kind as to put some comments down below, it would be fantastic. No, that was absolutely great, Waggy. Terry, great stuff. Bekra, you're late, but you're very welcome, and you're only just late, so it doesn't matter too much at all. Okay, so you need some cat. Do you mean Cat Stevens by any chance, Andrew? If so, it's something that we could help with, okay? Blast, I forgot the time. I will get it again on replay. No problem, Brian. We've only just started. You haven't missed much. And we have Alan Twig with us tonight, my partner in crime. I don't know if you all remember Al. You should do, because a lot of you have mentioned him on the previous Joe shows where Al has actually done a Joe show with me. Al is my partner who I go out and play with when I play in a duo. I met up with Al the other day, and we are hoping to bring you a live gig just as soon as we can, because we're both really, really missing playing. So I'm hoping that's not going to be too far off, okay? Okay, now then, Julie Ferrari, improvising with chords. Okay, now these are all great ideas, Julie, and everybody else. Somebody said something about plectrum technique and things like that. You must put them below the video once it's uploaded, because sometimes it's very difficult for me to address these points live as we're going along. Okay, now something to do with your right hand, okay? One of the things which separates beginners from more advanced players is the right hand. The right hand is massively important. In fact, it's very, very difficult to separate the two hands. They're both as important as one another. Now, one of the things that is very apparent with beginners is that this hand is very, very sticky, okay? So we've got to loosen it up, because a loose right hand makes for a smoother rhythm. Okay, so what I generally do is I'll really loosen this up before I play. It might seem really silly just doing this kind of thing, but I'm looking to get it really kind of loose, okay? And then I'll practice like we said last time. Practice your upstroke. And you can do that with any kind of reggae tune. This is the style that they use in reggae. And the reason I kind of say this is because it's the upstroke which is generally weak with beginners, because it's a natural movement to go like that, right? That's a very natural thing to go down. Coming up, not so natural. So I'd like you to do this with me for a while, okay? We'll have a little... I think everybody's busy, Al, today with study. I've got a good bunch of pupils here, Al, who are kind of... Okay, so we've got that upstroke on a G. Now, the thing is that if you play bar chords for reggae, it's much, much easier to dampen the chords, okay? So if we're playing like an open G, there's a lot of ringing out. It's not as good, okay? So... I don't know how many of you know this, but we've talked about it in the past, and I'll just touch on it briefly, okay? That if we're ever looking for a quick way to play the 1-4-5 chord in a bar position, doesn't matter where you are on the neck, we're going to play a G bar, okay? You're all familiar with that, right? We're just putting our index finger across all the strings on the 3rd fret, and the middle finger is on the 4th fret, okay? 3rd string. And then the ring finger and the little finger are on the 5th fret, 4th and 5th strings, okay? So that's a major, G major bar chord. So that's the 1 chord, okay? Now, if we then move down, so we're playing the 5th string on the same fret, and we're playing like, you know, on this 5th fret, 3rd and 4th strings, we're playing the 4 chord. Okay, so that's a C, and if we move it up 2 frets, that's kind of, that's a D, okay? Now even better, which is kind of very, very awkward, but I do urge you to try and learn this position that I'm going to show you. It's very awkward, it's very difficult, but let me tell you what makes a great guitarist. It's really, really actually quite simple. A great guitarist is somebody who repeats things daily. Could be very simple things, okay? But if you repeat it daily, it's not so much about doing complex things. It's about doing what you do on a daily basis. And the more that you... Now, I know it sounds obvious. You might think, duh, well, that sounds obvious, Joe. But it kind of is obvious. But I think sometimes some of the most obvious things are overlooked, which is why I'm kind of trying to point it out to you. Okay, so It's just doing the same things day after day after day after day, and they become easy. It doesn't really matter what it is, okay? So this shape I'd like you to learn is, it's where this ring finger is laid flat like a bar chord, and it's barring the second, third and fourth strings. Now I appreciate that's a very difficult thing to do for some of you, but until you start to try and do it, it's never going to get any easier. And what this does is it makes it far easier to play that 4 chord. Okay, so it's like this, what I just showed you previously, only when you lay it down you're getting this second string into the equation and the first. Okay, so it's very awkward, but I'd want you to start practicing it, because that way you're on the road to it becoming easier. Okay, so to come back to the main point, which was the 1, 4 and 5 chord in any key. If we're in G, we have our major bar shape. Then the 4 is this one where we move down to the 5th string and play that little bar with the ring finger, very awkward. 4 chord, move it up 2 frets, we have the 5 chord. Now if I was in position of A major, we'd have the 1 chord. Do our little position again for the 4 chord. Move it up 2 frets and we have the 5 chord. Same if we're down here on the F. Okay, the 1 chord, do our little shape, 4 chord, 5 chord. Now the thing to remember about bar chords is that the further up the neck you play them, the easier they are. Okay, so if you're playing like a B shape, our little shape again for the 4 chord and the 5 chord. Alright, so let's go back to our G bar. It's exactly true, Bernard. Now can you get that G like that? Now what we're doing is, the reason that I'm getting it to cut off like that reggae sound is that if you look at my hand from this angle, I'm pressing and releasing. I know you probably can't see, but I'm pressing the chord when I strum it, and as soon as I've strummed it, I'm releasing it. Now this is a really, really important technique that's used for dampening with the left hand, because if you think about it, dampening is something that I wanted to talk to you about today. So this is another little topic we're going to delve into. Now when you've seen me doing my kind of blues stuff, okay, you'll notice that generally a lot of the dampening takes place with the right hand, the palm here. So we have this. Okay, so that's left hand. Left hand, sorry, beg your pardon, right hand dampening. So that's with this hand, yeah? This part of the hand. We rest it on the strings, and we, rather than getting this sound, we get this sound. Okay? Now as I say, if you go back to your G bar position like that, and you play, and you release this left hand as soon as you've played the chord, try that. And it won't ring out. I've never seen you lot be so quiet. This is really, really good. So you're obviously very focused. And I can see that these teaching parts of the Joe Show tend to be quite popular. So, okay, have you got that? Do that a few times. Because we don't always want chords to sound out. Sometimes we want them to ring. So let's make it ring, okay? Now let's make it stop. See how effectively you can make it stop. So there't nothing ringing out there, right? Now we'll make it ring out. Now we'll make it stop. Okay, now we'll do the upstroke. And we'll make it stop. And it will be with the left hand. Now all I'm doing is really tickling the bottom 3 strings. Okay, I'm not bothered about playing all the strings here. It's reggae, yeah? And so when we're playing reggae, what you hear is that. You're probably familiar with that. Then we go to our little shape and we move it up 2. So we've got the 3 chords now. We've got the 1 chord, which we're going to play 4 times. Then we're going to switch to our shape and play the C chord twice. We're going to move it up 2 frets and we're going to play it twice there. But it's very important. There's a lot for you to think about here as well, because if you haven't done this type of thing, it's probably a little bit tricky. But I really appreciate you persevering and trying to do it at least. You know, that's the important thing. Okay, so we've got 4 on the 1 chord, 2 on the 4 chord, and 2 on the 5 chord. So let's try and play that together. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2. Back to the 1 chord. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2. Back to the 1 chord. 4 of those. 2 on the C, 2 on the D. Okay, now I'm hoping you're going to keep me going now. Little quicker. Keep it going, okay, because I'm going to sing. And I need you there, okay? So this is our little gig. And you guys are my backing band. Steer it up, little darling, steer it up, little darling, it's been a long, long time since I got you off my mind. And I'll be here, yeah. Said I feel so gay to see what we can do, baby. Just me and you. Come on and steer it up, little darling. Steer it up, little darling. Steer it up. Okay, so you've just learned your first little reggae tune. So that's a style that you can use to play a little bit of reggae. And in fact, you know, you'd be surprised how many Bob Marley songs are based around that kind of thing. But not only are you playing a reggae song, you're also massively improving your technique, because that won't be something you're probably used to doing. This upstroke, it's kind of counterintuitive. It doesn't particularly feel, it doesn't sit easily as compared to this downstroke. Okay, so now what I'm going to take a look at is another type of right hand practice, okay, whereby we're going to get a little bit more, shall we say, maybe accurate with our plectrum. So this is kind of